Okay, so as we're nearing the completion of our time together, I want to share with you my favorite food hacks, my favorite things that have really helped me along the way to boost my vitality, to increase my immunity, and to help improve my relationship with food. So one of them I mentioned earlier on the conscious consumption, and that's hot water. So it's so simple, it's so cheap, and it's simply just having a cup of hot water before your meals. This is a great way to hydrate, it's a great way to cut the acid in your system, and it's a great way to start eating more intuitively. The other thing you can do is if you feel like you're coming down with a little something, you start to get that little tickle in your throat, I would actually recommend that you do a second M-word technique. So if you're feeling a little under, so when you're like, ooh, am I? Don't even complain about it. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Just close your eyes and do a second meditation. And the other thing you can do is something I like to call black pepper tea. And it's really simple. You just boil some hot water, take an organic black pepper grinder, and grind 6 or 7 grinds into a teacup. Let the grind settle and then drink the water. It should be hot enough and spicy enough to where it induces a little bit of a fever, to where you get a little bit hot, so where you sweat out the cold. And you want to do that every 2 to 3 hours. Now, I travel a lot, and as you know, flying is very tough on the body. Anytime the human body moves faster than it can run, then you're actually burning up something that I call adaptation energy. So imagine how fast you're moving through space. You've got the dehydration of the plane, you're changing time zones, and you're breathing recycled air. And all of this can really stress your immune system. So when I fly, I like to use something called oregano oil. I brought a little prop here to show you. Any brand is fine. Just make sure that it's organic. And you can do 2 to 3 drops right on the back of your throat, but take care because this stuff is not a joke. It burns. It will kill anything in sight. It's like a natural antiviral and antibacterial. So you could do 1 or 2 drops if you're flying, and if you feel like you're coming down with something, then 3 to 5 drops every few hours. The other 2 things that have really helped me are really upping my raw fat intake. And I know this seems kind of crazy because we're so, brainwashed to think that fat is going to make us fat, but there's lots of new science coming out suggesting that that is not true at all. So as long as you're eating the right kinds of fats, like raw fats, like avocados or cold-pressed coconut oils or raw nut butters, then this is actually fuel for your brain. Your brain runs almost exclusively on EPAs and DHAs, so we want to really make sure that we're giving the brain the fuel that it needs to run, especially as we start meditating. Because when you meditate, you're actually taking your brain to the gym, so you might start needing more fat as you start a practice. And then finally, the thing that I love so much is starting to eat seasonally. And I think it goes without saying that we want to be eating real foods, not food-like products. And sadly, when you go into most grocery stores today, it's not food anymore, it's food-like products. It's chemicals filled with sugar and wrapped in plastic. So I invite you to, when you go in the grocery store, just ask yourself a question. Is this a food? Did it come from the earth? Or is this a food-like product that has been, adapted and mutated and processed and filled with sugar and chemicals and then wrapped in plastic? And if that is the case, perhaps you want to opt for more real foods and certainly more seasonal foods. And there's a whole beautiful science called Ayurveda, which I've been studying for the past few years. And Veda means knowledge, and Ayur means longevity. So it's actually the knowledge of longevity. It's how do we eat to optimize our performance. All right, friends, so I hope these tips have been helpful. Use them, let them complement your meditation practice, and I will see you tomorrow for our final day. Woo.